This is Chris Hitchcock. This is my final for this month here. I didn't see it on there, but I just looked at the rubrics. It says 3 to 5 minutes, so I'm going to try and squeeze through this pretty quick. So I did go through all my issues. I did get everything corrected in here. Titles, each page has a title, secondary pages. I know we had some problems with some labels that I had missed on the contact page. I did fix that and include the commit message here. Overuse of classes. You and I have a little bit of a disagreement on this, but I did go ahead and do that just based off of the feedback and wanted to make sure that could see I was flexible, and obviously I'm sure you wanted to see that I had the ability to use some more advanced selectors, so I did do that. All images have alt tags now, with the exception, I know you had said the icons at the bottom of the page for like the shipping and stuff, and I'll get into that in a minute. I didn't make those background image, but because they are an icon, I followed the HTML5 rule where because they're associated with text, they don't have that anymore. And then product headings, I know that was confusing having the top level hidden one and then having the product repeated again. So I'm going to go through that in the code and kind of touch on what I did there. Validation errors have been fixed, alt tags fixed, and the reason I had left some of the previous issues was I wanted to make sure when I went back that everything was actually cleared up, but that I can understand needing to get those closed. So jump into the code real quick here. So I know one of the things you had touched on was potential overuse of classes. So I did go through and I did remove a lot of classes. I still have my top level classes that you'll find, and I think I explained this in there. I like to make sure that my CSS is properly encapsulated, and by having each section have its own class, I can actually encapsulate that, and you'll see that in the CSS here. You know, each part of it's going to have an encapsulated portion here where we have the footer, footer A tag, footer section, first of type, you know, stuff like that. So I did leave some of that stuff. I did go in and tidy up the, let's see, where's the product page here? I have it up as well. I'm actually in it right now. So I did switch to an H3 tag for the product right on the top here. And then followed by the image, and I made sure it was all in order for a screen reader for somebody with accessibility issues, and then I just reordered it visually using grid, and did that for all of them. And then the let's see. Oh, the one main thing, and these are going to be really small, but so I'm trying not to spend too much time on this portion of it, but this is the biggest one here. So I wanted to make sure that from an accessibility standpoint that I made these as you know, oh, whoops, sorry, making issues here, as outlined as possible. So I did go through on all of my pages and ensure that the structural outline was intact as well as the heading level outline. So I made all of those changes. And then I guess real briefly here in the JS, I couldn't find I was getting a 404 error on the link for the JSON object. So the only JS I did was this next event. I built this as an actual countdown timer. That is right here is the code for that, and I had it up. So real simple function. I'm having it do a null check to make sure that we're on the correct page, that countdown actually exists, so we don't have any issues that are firing off. I made it an instantly invoking function expression, and then just jumped in to grab the LIs that existed in that UL there, set a new date for today, and then an event date, and then I wanted to make the event date 42 days, and it matched the mockup, and have it run at 8 a.m. So then do simple subtraction to see how much time is, and it returns this enormous number where I went and I found actually I've used these multiple times, the equations to uh, actually get you days, hours, minutes, and seconds. And then I used insert adjacent HTML to throw a div with those days and an object literal in there. From there, I did a set interval function here of 1 second. That was going to redo the date each second so that we could get a new difference each time, run through those same equations, and then replace that inner HTML with the new updated day, hour, minutes, and seconds. So that's that one. And then I did one other on um, the shop page. So on the shop page here, obviously we have a pagination type thing here. So I wanted to make sure that this actually functioned. So I built it in where the arrows are going to switch pages here, and as will the numbers. And as you can see here, we're on number 1. I made sure that we're not, we can't force it past number 1, get an error and break it. Same with number 3, it won't go past that. But if we're on 2, it'll go to 1. If we're on 2, it'll go to 3. So real simple JavaScript for that one as well. And I can open that here. Used a couple event listeners here, 2 different event listeners for the first and the last, since they use a little bit different, have to be able to check and make sure that they're not at the first or last. Then just a real simple for loop on the other ones. And they're all using the same remove active and set active. All it's doing is it's looking for the page index, which is set either by a minus minus, a plus plus, or the actual index here in the for loop so that it knows which number it is actually on. So all in all, cleaned up all the issues here and really tried to make this look nice and as close to similar as possible. I know that some of these screenshots I had posted, the theme was way different than what the actual homepage was. So I tried to make sure that they matched as closely as possible. So if I didn't match the mock exactly, that's why. Like this is using orange. I did go ahead and remove all those ugly H1s in here. I initially had done that to match closer to the mock-ups. But that same orange color is being used basically everywhere here. And yeah, so the real cool thing here, I came into this class, I've done HTML and CSS since 2011. Got into JavaScript, I don't even know when, and I feel that I'm pretty decent at all of them. And then I start learning about, all these things that you're pointing out where, like initially I had H tags all over the page here, and my gut reaction was, what? He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's not right. And to go in and find out. So I apologize for even thinking that. But going in and further reading on like Mazda, developer network, and to find out that is not even anywhere near the case, that you definitely have to use H1s in order. I'm sorry, H tags, all heading tags. I did read a little bit further that when HTML5 initially released, they're like, go nuts, have fun, do whatever you want with heading tags. And when 5.1 came out, they realized what a mistake that was and how badly that affected people that had accessibility issues and how much it hurt SEO and stuff like that. So that was some really interesting, unique stuff to learn. I was very happy to do so, and it was kind of fun to go back through, and I had never even seen like the section outlines there. So stuff like that was really good, and I'm really appreciative that you pointed a lot of that stuff out in the class here. So, but I know this is well over the 3 to 5 minutes here. Like I said, it didn't show on the final. So with this having so much to go through, I'm really hoping that I'm not going to get dinged on that. But I really wanted to go through and explain reasoning for doing stuff and really just touch base on everything I did in my project. So. Hopefully that explains the choices I made. Just real quick, I guess, in case this comes up later and you have questions about this, in a lot of areas here, I'm using a height element class here for I guess navigation purposes for screen readers and accessibility. When I was initially going through the HTML validator, it would show open sections or sections without headings in the section outline. So I wanted to make sure for that I was as close and accurate as possible, and it really gave a nice, neat outline going forward. So um, yeah, anyway, that's my project. This was a fun class. I appreciate all the good feedback and hope that if you have any questions, you'll certainly reach out and let me know.